It's amazing the power of something so tiny that we may not even be able to see it as a break in a blood vessel. All our power and all our technology. But it's also amazing the power of something that we can see and we can do something about. Years ago, I remember people in my family having strokes, and when they had a stroke, they either died or they went to a nursing home. It's something where I can so understand how people are impacted by this trauma in their lives and the earthquake that it causes, not only in the stuff and the income and all of that kind of world, but in the inside world. I got a phone call that my friend Dean had a stroke and was rushed to the hospital. And I was so scared. And I remember rushing into the hospital and going up to see him and getting to almost immediately go back to the room. And there he was, just like nothing had happened. I mean, there were no marks on him. You know, he wasn't bleeding anywhere. His hair hadn't fallen out. He didn't have any bruises. But we just looked at each other. And I saw in his eyes everything that I knew to be Dean. But we couldn't speak. And it just ripped my heart out. And I thought, is this all there's ever going to be of Dean again? I've heard talk about a clubhouse, and I know something about clubhouses because in my own rehabilitation for the things in my life that I have had long-term rehabilitation in, a clubhouse has been absolutely imperative. It's been a place where I go where I can talk to someone next to me and say, now what was it that you did when you couldn't pull your foot up high enough to reach the next step, but you had to take that next step? And the person next to me said, well, hey, look, I just reached down and grabbed the pants leg on my knee and pulled it up a little bit, and I made it the next step. Because there's not always a professional there that's going to answer every question. And a clubhouse is a place where the people that have resolved these problems in their own lives are able to share those problems with one another, and the community of wisdom that has resolved it for themselves is passed on from one recovering person to the next. My recovery in my life would be nothing if it weren't for the recovery of the people that came before me. My friend Dean's recovery would be nothing if it weren't for the recovery of the people that came before Dean, and he has shared with me how much it's meant to be involved with Bind and the people that he's worked with in his life that have taught him and shown him and given him insight into what's happening with him.